Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone had a terrific 4th of July weekend. I know I did. It was very pleasant, relaxing, no stock market. Market was closed on Monday. We all got an extra day to recoup. And now we're ready to rock and roll. And pretty much that's what the market is doing today. It's rocking and a rolling, rocking and a reeling, right? It's got us going this way and that way and that way and this way.
It's the rock and roller coaster.
Do we invest in gold? Do we invest in silver? Do we invest in blockchain? Do we invest in bio? Do we pull out all our money and put them under the mattress?
We do what Dr. J did and put all our money in Apple. That's what I should have did on Friday.
Yeah. So the theme for today is talking blockchain for the beginning of it, followed by bio, followed by EV.
Yep.
Let's see how much we can do. For blockchain, I want to do Bitcoin, GBTC, Ethereum. I want to do ETHE. Look at those charts.
Yep.
I want to look at the charts of some of the miners. HUT just went on the NASDAQ the other day. One of the miners, HUT 8. And then Marathon Mining, they're a big player in Bitcoin mining. And Riot. I don't know what RIOT. I forget the name of the company. Maybe it is Riot.
Riot Blockchain, that's the name. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's all about blockchain. Nobody knows what the hell blockchain is except Professor Spike. You want to explain what blockchain is in simple layman terms?
Sure. Essentially, it's the technology that the Bitcoin is based on, and same with the Ethereum. And so, if you really want to think about it from a business perspective, the blockchain is a database, and but it doesn't hold a lot of important data, just mostly transactions. Like, this person sold this much Bitcoin to that person. This person gave this much Bitcoin to that person. And so those are pretty simple records, and they keep a database of it. And so the difference with blockchain is that everybody gets a copy of that database. And so everybody gets a copy of the same set of transactions. And this way there's no cheating, because if you're going to cheat, you can't just cheat on your copy. You have to cheat on everybody's copy. And if there are thousands upon thousands of copies, you can't cheat. So the basic idea behind blockchain is that you get security by the fact that everybody has all the same information.
Right.
And so the reason it's called blockchain is because that's how the data gets added and added. So data miners go in and look at a large collection of transactions and encrypt them and format them and verify them. And then once all that is done, it gets added to the blockchain, and they get paid off they get paid off in Bitcoin to do it, or they get paid off some other way to do it. So the way those people make their money is by going into the data and creating the structures associated with building the blockchain and distributing it to everybody.
All right. I hope that explains.
Clear as milk, right? Clear as milk.
Clear as milk. Clear as mud.
Oh, actually, a little clearer than mud, but less clear than water.
Yeah.
I was aiming for milk.
So it's actually fairly simple in a way.
Right, Patrick.
And
so
it's
you can't do
ingenious as well.
That's why it's for Bitcoin and stuff like that.
Yeah. So these miners, why do they need such tremendous computer power in order to mine Bitcoin?
Well, the accounting for it is if you're going to do all this work to structure it and then send a copy to every database owner, that's very energy intensive. I mean, one of the things that I had done as a grad student with one of my professors was he was really deep into distributed databases, and the basic idea was to make as few copies as possible while maintaining the integrity of the data. This goes completely the other way. They say, "Ah, to hell with it. Let's just give everybody a copy."
Yeah, Patrick has a comment. Let's see.
Yeah, no, he said it's slow, so that you can't do instantaneous stuff. You can't, for instance, it's harder to do. For instance, it's hard to do individual stock transactions.
Yeah, but there is
you can do
Ethereum
stuff and illiquid stuff. Maybe
there is Ethereum 2.0 coming out, and
Right.
that's supposed to make everything better.
It's just supposed to add a little bit more technology than just basic transactions. So if you add programmable transactions, then maybe you could put more stuff on the blockchain. That's just going to make it that much more unwieldy. But that's the movement.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, so it's this. So Ethereum 2 is going to have more algorithms and better what they call contracts, and so you'll be able to have a wider range of businesses to be able to use the technology on.
Right. All right. So we'll take
Everybody who really knows blockchain knows how little I know.
We'll take a look at some of these blockchain plays. Again, Riot, Mara, Hut, GBTC, and ETH, and see how they're
right. So we do have
today
between Bitcoin or coins and the blockchain technology underneath.
You know what Brian Kelly said when asked what does he think of Bitcoin?
Mm-hmm.
The guy that's on Fast Money a lot on CNBC, he said, "Well, we're in a trading range," and she said, "What's the trading range?" He said, 29,000 to 55,000. It's hard to disagree with that, you know.
Sean wants to know why we're talking about crypto. Well, we wanted to do a bit more of a specific theme to get started instead of always doing pharmaceuticals.
Yeah, Sean, we're gonna do the usual VBIV and Elbow and CVM, and we'll get around to a little maybe CSIV, a little Lucid and
some of the
Neo.
EV stuff.
Yeah, we're gonna cover a lot of ground, so let's get going. Linda's here.
Yeah.
Today. Sean is here. Amazon. He's talking Amazon, which is busting through.
It really is. Well, and so's Apple. So you made some good moves this weekend.
Yeah.
And
also, we could take a look at GLD and GDX. There's so much we could look at.
Well, I'm still in GLD.
On sale, says Dan.
I know that's. I'm glad for you, but sad for everybody else.
MA is here.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Yeah, it's public ledger. That's exactly what it is.
And
isn't that what I said in my million words for you too?
Yeah. I pick winners. Yes, Jets. I can't help it. Look, I was born.
He's got his Jets hat on.
I was born and bred in Brooklyn, and I live in Long Island. Who do you want me to root for?
I got my Jets stuff. Look here, Jets.
Yes. Who would you like me to root for? Tell me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're diehard New Yorkers who love the underdog.
MA has his usual greeting and salutation.
Hello.
Dave is hanging on.
So am I. I trimmed a little, but not at a good price.
Is this wishful thinking? I don't know. Is CVM not going any lower? Says Dave. We don't know. We're going to look at the chart. Maybe the chart will give us a clue. You think the chart might give us a clue to that? I think so.
Cabinet guy likes New England.
Let's get down to business.
Sure, go with a winner. Sure. Why don't you?
We're going to get down to business.
All right. Well,
business time. First, let's talk averages, okay? The S&P 500 is down 0.5%, 24 points. The Dow is down almost 1%, 328 points. The NASDAQ is off fractionally. And the Russell is off 1.84%, getting slammed. Wow. So the best of the indices are the NASDAQ or the Qs, which is essentially flat. The worst of them is the Russell 2000, which had been hot as hell on a tear. Looks like that's cooling off. And BCRX, of course, I see is down 37 pennies. VBIV is up 2 pennies. Most of my biotechs on the screen here, ENTX, KMPH, KMPH, VYNE, all down. CTXR coming back from the living dead, up 11 cents to 226. So that's some of the bios.
Yeah, get rid of that comment before you get to charting.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. Let's
So
start.
for your weekend, so everything changes.
Let's start with the macro picture on. No, let's start with right away with crypto. Let's start with
We'll stick with our theme. So you can do GDPTX.
Greystone Trust.
GBTX is the way to Bitcoin.
Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. Take a look at how Bitcoin is doing today. Up 2%.
But still.
Up is better than down if you're long Bitcoin, right? 2% is not a small amount for Bitcoin.
Oh yeah, when you're talking about thousands.
Yeah. And of course, it's just a tiny little speck on the daily.
So to answer Sean's question a little bit better, you know, he asks, why are we talking about Bitcoin? Are we talking about Bitcoin because we're in it, or we're talking about Bitcoin because we're just interested in it academically?
A little of both. I've been in and out of Bitcoin, and I'm thinking of when to get in again. It's been making a series of lower lows since that frightening sell-off. The lowest of these lows on GBTC is 2768. So we've come up about a point and a half off the lowest of the lows. It still looks kind of scary to me. From the chart, I'm not touching it yet. So personally, I don't think I'm interested in taking a stake at this point again. I lost a little when I dipped my toes in for the first time. Made on ETHE. So I lost on GBTC, made on ETHE. It was more or less a wash. I lost a few bucks because I had more GBTC than I did ETHE. Let's take a look at ETHE.
Yes, that's another grayscale play on it. The question is, do you go directly in, or do you do these? If you do this, it's a little bit more liquid.
Wow,
you don't have to get involved in the blockchain.
The chart is straight down from the highs to a low, right? The low was made right at the 50. The low is 1640, and now we're trading at 22. So we bounced much nicer off the lows than Bitcoin did. So this looks interesting. I still want to see a little bit more before I'm convinced that we're heading straight up, straight back. So I'm not convinced from the chart, but the chart is a little bit better than Bitcoin, and certainly there's a lot of people who think this is the way to play.
Well, this is not a pure coin play. That's the whole point. This is more of a technology play, because this, you know, Bitcoin is just the value of the coin. Here, you're talking about the coin.
Look at how perfect the lower trend line is giving support. I'll be right back. Nature calls for Dr. J.
All right. Well, nature is calling. I guess I have no other choice but to talk more about Ethereum, because that's the chart that's up here. Like I was saying before, this is more about not just the coin itself, but about the coin and the technology. So the basic idea, like we were saying before, is that they're two different animals. One is, you know, do we have coins, or do we have a currency that's independent of various governments? And, you know, do we have to worry about regulation, and do we have to worry about its impact on the economy, and the gray market and the black market. And so when you get into the coins themselves, like Bitcoins, you're getting into a lot more than just the technology. You're getting into the questions about whether or not we should, as a government, as a country, have these kinds of free reign currencies out there. I tend to believe that some regulation or some sovereignty is good in terms of the economies, but otherwise you have openings for black markets and a lot of bad things. Now, as far as Ethereum goes, again, there is a coin underneath it, but then there's also just the technology. And when we talk about the technology, the question really is, what potential does the technology have? So I've been doing some work about just trying to find other applications, for these things, and there are definitely a lot of applications for this idea of what did somebody call it? Just a database of transactions, or a ledger. Yeah, if you're just keeping a ledger, then there's just so much you can do. But if Ethereum 2 comes out with just a slight bit more algorithmic stuff, you can actually do transactions that are a little bit more complex and keep a good track of them. That being the case, then the technology has a lot of promise as a complement to the usual database stuff that we go through, and all the IT stuff and all the cloud stuff. So it's definitely, as a technology, worth keeping an eye on.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you're relatively quick, because I didn't have much more to say.
No, you did beautifully, as always. I mean, first came to this,
Patrick is talking about themselves, the vehicle by which you do this investment. Yes, obviously, when you have a middleman, there's going to be things you have to keep an eye on. So if you bought a Bitcoin directly, you'd have, or if you got into the Ethereum directly, then yeah, of course, you'd have a more direct relationship, instead of having somebody in there, some middleman trying to steal your money one way or another. So I
go back to this picture. I really do like the ascending trend line that's serving as support. It's a very, very nice trend line, and we bounced beautifully off of it. So, and look, even though it's a very what would you say that slope is? 30 degrees.
Well, it depends on your scale. I never answered that question as a math professor.
All right. But it's a very modest slope.
Yes, okay.
But nevertheless, it'll get you
there. You can
there.
stretch it out and make it even more modest, or squeeze it in and make it less modest.
It will certainly get you there, right?
It's certainly increasing. That's the only thing I'll say about it.
Yeah, and as long as it stays true to that ascending trend line, this is a very nice play into the foreseeable future. I think I like this chart, the way I drew it anyway, more appealing to me than Bitcoin. So I prefer ETHE to Bitcoin's chart right now. And basically, I'm just, even though it's a grayscale trust, it's essentially mirrors Bitcoin and Ethereum. So it's good enough. I want to do coin. Coin is big. It had IPO'd about a month ago now, right?
Not sure. I haven't looked at that one.
I think it IPO'd a month ago. This is what you use if you're buying Bitcoin. You use Coinbase. The whole world uses Coinbase. Not Dr. J, because I don't own any Bitcoin, but the rest of the world. Okay, so this is a weekly. We've come down off the opening, off the IPO opening. Let's see what the high was. 429. We bottomed here 2 weeks ago at 210. We were sliced in half, Professor Spike.
Uh-huh. And
this was a very hot IPO. People were clamoring to get it. So maybe they shouldn't have clamored so much.
More often than not, just waiting a day or two after an offering is a smart move.
Yeah. And this is a daily. And you can see that again. Look at how true it is to the 9-day from June 14th on. So for the last 3 weeks, it's been very true to the 9-day, following the 9-day. What a 9-day is following it, either way.
Right, but and it's getting a little parabolic, so you might be seeing a recovery.
Yes, it's clearly demonstrable curve that's starting to move parabolic, as Professor Spike said, or even if it moves logarithmic, I'll take it, as long as that direction is up.
Logarithmic. You have to wait a lot longer to make your money.
A lot longer, yeah. But we want the general direction to be up.
All right, so yeah, so actually you're right. As far as the technology, this is the one.
We did have a pullback last week, right? Every day last week we made lower lows and lower highs. Let's see if we can turn that around beginning today. And I think we can. So this is an important test today, that the 9-day hold. I'd like to see this candle turn green, even though it gapped open, and that's why it's red. I'd still like to see it turn green by end of day on Coinbase. What was the range for the day? 243 to high, 238 to low, open 243. So it opened right at the high. I'd like to finish above that. That would be a bullish sign for me. So I want to see it close green at 243 and 43 cents. How's that?
Well, that's fine. It's not the middle of that big green candle. According to that, you might have a little bit more downside.
Yeah, that's true. Might. But, it could stop anywhere in that big green candle.
Sure.
I like the middle as a rule, but
so yeah, Patrick
is like it here. I kind of like it here.
Place to get a play on the Bitcoin without having to go to grayscale.
Yeah, I kind of like this.
Bitcoin has nothing to do with that.
Let's see if we can't draw a bit of a trend line.
Yeah, okay.
Now, it's a little bit below trend, so that's another reason I want to see it finish strongly today.
Finance. I like that.
Right now, I would not. I don't think I'd be interested in actually buying it at this point. But it's beginning to look tempting, especially if it gets back above that trend line. So I want to see it go up before I buy. I want proof of the pudding. Proof of the pudding. Okay.
Sounds good.
So I'm not convinced yet.
It sounds like we got a couple days yet before we can make a decision on that.
Yeah. Let's look at Riot.
Yeah, and then we'll move off the.
We're boring people.
It seems that they're looking at other stuff.
You know what it is? Our crowd is a biotech crowd.
Well, no, we have very erudite people who talk beyond that. I mean, we're having Patrick and Magnificent Answer are giving us some very important information about this stuff.
Oh, okay. So there is interest.
Yeah. Well, everybody's interested in making a little bit of money. So this is Riot. Now, what does Riot do?
Riot is a miner, Bitcoin miner, and it's been moving up really nice. Notice it has the same 5-day pullback that Coinbase has, and just like Coinbase, it's
Coin adjacent.
Just like Coin, it's holding true. Well, Coin went below the trend line. This is testing the trend line right now. So I want Riot. If I'm interested in Riot, I also want to see it change its color from red to green with a rally later today. That might be enough for me to get me to buy Riot. Because basically it's been a very nice chart. Look at this chart. If you look at it from May 13th, the low is $20.68. We've almost doubled from middle of May. So how can you knock this chart, you know?
Right.
Series of higher highs and higher lows. We had one little pullback here that took us down to 28.40, and we bounced nicely even off of that to 36. That's a 8-point swing from 28. That's very nice. So it's really been behaving well. You have a little bit of a pullback. Might be the time to start looking at Riot for a different kind of play if you want to diversify your portfolio a little bit. And let's do the new one. Skip Mara, because we're spending a lot of time on this.
Okay.
The HUT is new to the NASDAQ. So let's see how it's doing on its second day of trading on the NASDAQ. Also that same red candle, high of 559, low of 518, trading at 530. The difference is it's been in a very strong uptrend and took out its old high of 511. So this is very, very meaningful. I kind of like this one better than Riot.
Well,
Not that
Riot is on different coins. This one is a pure Bitcoin play.
Which one? HUT?
HUT, yeah.
No, they also into mining Ethereum.
All right. Well, see, this is the problem when you read these descriptions because it says it focuses solely on mining Bitcoin, but it uses a small b, which must mean different coins in the realm. If it was
I know they're starting.
If I was reading a capital B, I would think they were talking about Bitcoin.
They're also starting to mine Ethereum.
Okay.
And they're also doing other things. So they're trying to increase the yield on their coins, and they're I forget. There's one other thing they're doing. They're trying to make money 3 different ways.
Okay.
And apparently they're pretty successful at it.
You can't fault somebody for trying to turn a buck.
Yeah, and I like the CEO. They got a new. I think she's fairly new. I think. So I think this is an interesting one. You got to follow this one, and it went through the 100-day, which was giving it a problem. You see, the 100-day back here on June 10th was 511, and it couldn't break it. Now it went through the 100-day.
Mm-hmm.
Is this 100? Yeah. This is, wait a second, I can't tell my colors.
Well, you color code them the same way.
Maybe I don't think that's an average. It's just a line that I just drew.
Oh, that one, yeah.
Yeah. I just drew that straight line. So
that was your
nevertheless, it went through that.
Well, that demonstrates the breakout anyway.
Let's just summarize it. I'm very bullish on this one. I like this one a lot.
This one's hot. Okay.
Yeah, I think this is the best of them that I've looked at. All right. Let's take a look at some of the bios. Well,
we promised Dermatech, so we might as well start with that one.
All right. I had a sell order in for all my Dermatech. I didn't get the limit order, and it was right back here when it hit nosedive.
Bummer.
Instead, I sold some the next day, but only, not even 25%. Maybe 25%. So I'm still in 75% of my position. watching it go down every day. It is up today, 35 cents, better than nothing. The candle is looking okay with a long, it's fairly long stem. I think we're looking at support. Let's see where the support would be on this. I want to get rid of this line.
You have an old trend line sitting there.
Yeah, I'll get rid of that. Okay, so yeah, so we're clearly below trend, but we're starting to curve back, right?
Is that the 100 that it's sitting on?
It's sitting
You
on.
don't even need to draw your line if you're looking at that other one. The
No,
100.
this trend line is clearly, it broke trend.
Right.
Broke trend. It broke the 50 as well. So there's a lot of negativity associated with this chart. But the good news is, well, I don't know if this is the good news, but the 200 is going to serve as support. And that's our old low of 28.95. We don't want to see it retest that. But
Right.
even if it did drop to the 200, it would probably drop at about $35 a share. So it's possible we're headed for $35 a share. But look at this curvature. Maybe not. Maybe it's ready to turn the corner.
It's hard to call a parabola this early, but yeah, I'm hoping so too.
I mean, you could optimistically think that we may put in our low right here, 37.
Mm-hmm. Sure. As a matter of fact, this would be your nibble sign. If that green was a little bit thicker, that would be your typical nibble sign.
Yeah. So, depending on how it finishes the day and tomorrow's candle, we can come to better conclusions whether or not we think it's actually turned the corner. But if it doesn't turn the corner here, I think $35 is a likely target, unfortunately. So Dermatech is showing some weakness, but I think it's short term. VBIV is another one that's showing a lot of weakness.
Yeah, we have a lot of people wanting to talk about that.
Yeah, I don't know why people want to talk about the gloomy stuff.
Well, because a lot of people still have money in it, as do I.
That's true. As do I. I sold 1/3 of my VBIV. I still have lots of money in it. It broke trend back here the day of what was that day?
It was a good news announcement.
That it came out with news about the data on the COVID-19 vaccine.
I love it when stocks react this way on good news.
Yes, it was clearly good news. Clearly good news.
Mm-hmm.
It's done nothing but go down since. Made four new lows, 4 days in a row. Nothing.
Talking the 50.
I mean, you can't buy this right now. It's not buyable right now. I don't think. Although this is a key low right there. 3 1/4 is a key low. Did it go below it?
Did it?
Yes, by a penny.
Did it go below what? Did it go below 3 1/4?
By a penny. It took out this key low by a penny. I mean, it's very likely that it's going to go test the 200 at about let's say 315.
I know. Now, our friend Arjun is still bullish on it overall. I guess.
Well, overall, there's probably a lot of reason to be bullish on it, but right now the chart is anything but bullish.
Yeah, well, we've lived this with BCRX a lot also.
True.
I mean, we're living that now, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. So biotech right now is BioDrek. A lot of shorts coming back. They're not scared of Wall Street bets and so on. The shorts are attacking this one. I think they will drive it down to the 200. If you're thinking of adding or getting in, I would look to get in at about, well, it does almost doesn't pay. I was going to say
For a couple
315,
pennies.
318. But if you're going to buy it at 318, you might as well nibble now.
Right. Unless you really.
So if you like the fundamentals, as does Arjun, this is a good time as any to nibble.
Right.
I can't say I'm crazy about it right now because I'm not.
It's not one of my favorites either.
No. But I only sold 1/3, and probably I should have sold more in retrospect. All right.
Did you want to look at BCRX since we talked about it?
Yeah, as of now, my thinking is I am holding VBIV. I may even add back with further weakness. All right, let's look at.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah. I'm not giving up on it. Albo, I really like with the PDUFA.
Yeah, after this, I think we should discuss Albo because that is the other. At least in my head, they're both the same because they're both what I call my Arjun plays.
They are Arjun plays, but I think this one is a better one. I'm betting on the PDUFA. It is, like Arjun said, an orphan drug, orphan disease. And they have a priority review and all of that. I think they're going to get approved. So with approval, it should be a pre-PDUFA run-up and a pre-market run-up. So there's going to be time to take something off the table. Maybe now is the time.
PDUFA, right?
Now looks like the time to add. To me.
Yeah, if we think there's going to be like a quick spurt just before PDUFA, then we could swing it now.
Yeah.
Guess that makes
let's
sense.
look at this low here.
I wish I had extra money.
$33.75. I mean, it could come down to that.
What made you draw that line?
This is a key low right here, so I just drew the line.
Okay, gotcha. I see it.
That's the low that day was 34. What was it? On the wrong candle. 33.68. 33.68. So figure 33.75 is time to. If you believe 33.75 is the time to load the boat. If you're a believer. If you're not a believer, that's fine. Turn the next page and go somewhere else, right? But I think there's every reason to believe this one gets approved. The FDA has been in a terrible frame of mind since doing everything upside down though, approving the Alzheimer's drug for Biogen and turning down everything else.
Yeah, well, I hope not.
It seems like every company is getting CRL, one after another, including PRVB, by the way.
Oh, really? Is that what happened?
Yeah, they got a CRL. Let's take a look at PRVB.
Okay. And then we should look at a Novus anyway, and maybe add
something good is a Novus, right?
Yeah, so but Mantis wants to know if we think it's going to sustain above 100, and I think that's a good question to ask.
By the way,
that's a good proverb. So
This is not a terrible sell-off considering a complete response letter.
for the
There
bad
must
news.
be some good, something optimistic in that letter.
Right, because that worked so well for CVM, where we had something optimistic in there, and we were able to. I know it actually did peak. It did have a little bit of a bump up there, didn't it?
Yeah, I'm really impressed that it didn't go to 2.
That's hoping. Yeah, maybe this is just one of those things where, like, Wile E. Coyote jumps off the cliff, but he's not quite aware of it yet.
Maybe, but maybe there's reason to be in this one still, because people are not scampering out. CVM had a huge drop after its disappointing data.
Yeah, no, that one that we recognized the cliff as soon as we stepped off of it.
I mean, it's holding its key support level.
Yeah.
The low of, oh no, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong thing. Here's a $6 candle.
Oh, look at that. Okay.
I was wondering why it didn't look so bad.
I thought that was the volume.
I was wondering why
Okay,
it
there you
didn't look
go.
so bad. So it broke below the key low
Okay.
here.
God is in his heaven.
675. But you know, in terms of percentage drop, it's still smaller than I would have thought. Much smaller.
Were a lot of our listeners in PRVB?
You know what? I want to draw one more line.
Okay.
I want to draw this line here.
They had been mentioning it, but nobody seems to be really like jumping on this particular one.
Isn't this pretty amazing? Take a look.
Yes.
I mean, I had no idea it was going to connect like that.
Look at that.
When I drew that line, I had no idea the low of April 9th of 636, the low of May 11th of 614, and the low of today, which was 573, would be a perfect trend line. Very interesting. And look at how it bounced off of that low. So you could have made money today if you played this trend line, bought at 575, and you'd be making money already today. There's always ways to make money if you're clever. All right, so what do I think now? I think you don't play it at this point. Yeah. What do you think, Professor Scott?
I think it's a dead duck. There's plenty of other places to throw your money away.
You just wait. Just wait on that one. What other bio did I have, or should I go to EV?
Do a Novus first.
A Novus.
An AVXL.
Beautiful chart on a Novus. Beautiful. I love when they go parabolic like this. Just love it. It's still undervalued. This is an undervalued biotech, believe it or not, even at 100. What's the market cap on this? Do you have it?
Not handy, but I can find it. It's not very high. I know that.
Under $1 billion, right?
Yeah, no, I know. This is not of the ones that we were talking about. This is like the least.
I think it's well under $1 billion. I think.
Give me a sec. 770 million.
So
Yes,
it's still cheap by market cap. I think it's cheap. and it keeps making new highs. It took out the old high of
Yeah,
197. It's very nice. If you own this one, congratulations for
yeah, he kept it.
for having the foresight to not sell it. I own this one, but not as many shares as I would like.
I bailed after that whole Biogen approval business, and then it just rocketed
Yeah.
up since then. But I
Well, I
tried jumping
thought that
back in.
would be a plus. The Biogen approval I took as a plus for Novus and Sava.
Well,
Because
assuming that, like
but
you said, doesn't predispose the assuming it doesn't predispose the FDA to stupidity.
is the FDA crooked? What's with the FDA?
No, I don't think I don't think they're crooked. I just think that because they're a government institution, they behave politically sometimes.
Look at how true to the trend
Yeah,
line
that's beautiful.
Sava is. Sava is a strong buy as well, even though their market cap is multi-billions. I don't know, 3, 4 billion, I believe. And they're both about equally far away from approval.
Right. That's why people are saying AVXL is the closest to actually real news, which I don't know.
What do they have? A phase 3 trial?
I'm just, I don't have any details because I'm a
Well,
before.
I could chart AVXL, but this one is beautiful.
I know that one looks like it's just following the line.
Novus is beautiful. Sava is beautiful. It pays to own both, I think. Another one is Prothena has been moving up like a shot. This is Parkinson's drug.
Yeah, Denali hasn't been. Denali's been just sort of waiting, but this is the other one. Oh, which one is this one? Oh, PTRA, right?
Tremendous chart from $13. It went all the way up to a high of 59.74. Came back down about a week later to a low of 44. And now it's come back up to 53.39, challenging, getting ready to make new highs, it looks like. Today's candle is a little weak, but one candle does not a trend make. So, do I like Prothena? Yeah, I do. I wish I hadn't sold it when I did. I owned it a long time. Sold it before the move.
And you like this guy better than Denali?
It's a very sharp trend line. Very sharp trend line.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
If I drew it a little better, I would capture the highs down there.
Those stuff. Yeah.
Very nice trend line.
Huh.
Prothena is one to keep an eye out on. And finally, you want me to look at VAX, AVXL.
And then we need to look at ITRM for Kamal. He's been very patient.
Okay. This one doesn't look as good.
I know it's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, Sava looks better, and Novus looks better. I mean, it peaked over here at 29.70 at the end of June 28th. It's come back down sharply, and now the 9-day is serving as resistance. I don't like this one off the chart as
Really?
much as the others.
Okay.
Look, the others look better, simple call. Off the chart. And Denali, what was the other one?
Well, Denali was the other play, and then Kamal wanted to see ITRM.
ITRM.
Yeah, we can leave Denali alone for now. ITRM, I think this is a change of. After this, we can go to the EVs because this is a change.
Yes, okay. ITRM Therapeutics, ITRM. Had a big.
I don't know if you've done this one before. It just took a massive drop. Look at that! Look at that red
Yeah,
candle.
the person had a big gap up from 625. It made new highs up around 250, and now it gapped down. on some kind of bad news, I guess. Data or FDA rejection, something. I don't know what the bad news is. Whenever I get this kind of big leap down, gap down, I don't touch it, no matter what the stock
Yeah.
is.
So come on, what's the
Because,
interest? Are you thinking that it's fake news and that it's worth getting back in, or
no,
just want to? Just want to? I'm asking Kamal why he was interested in it in the
what
first
my
place.
figure is it always takes time. It takes time, maybe months, before it bases and starts moving
Man
down.
said ITRM got a letter from the FDA with labeling issues.
Well, it obviously wasn't good news. This is an interesting trend line. It's a high of uh, the, the high of one. What day is that? Anyway, it's a high of 129. The day before it made the gap up. So that's a very interesting number that it came back down to
It
today.
wasn't horrible news, just not great news.
So in other words, it finally filled. Did it fill the gap? No, it almost filled the gap.
You're saying months later it finally filled that gap. You see, I see what you're saying.
Well, the gap is 123, so it didn't even fill it yet.
Gotcha.
I don't. I mean, based on this, you could say your thinking could be that it went down to the high of the day and it stopped. If it moves up off of this, your thinking could be you might get a dead cat bounce. Let's say to back up to 140.
Hmm.
If you want to play it for a scalp, it might be okay. What else would you want to play? CSIM?
Oh yeah, now it's time for the EVs while we to close out the show.
This one is up 14 pennies today, but it's a red candle. The 9-day is support. It's off the high from, I guess that would be from Thursday. And that high was 29.81 with 2 points, almost 3 points off that high today. And if you're looking to get in, I would probably you could probably get in now if you want in. You could wait a little bit more.
Yeah.
Try to get the 9-day.
It's not giving you your nibble signal yet.
Yeah, I mean it looks okay to buy here because the general trend has been up quite a bit.
Yeah, I know. Since the 20s down there, it's.
I'm going to try to draw.
I mean, the first it took a big hit when they found out it was going to be lucid, and then people were like, "Well, maybe that's not so bad after all."
Yeah.
And
Well,
so now it's.
when is this?
People were just waiting for that merger to occur already.
When is this actually going to happen? The changeover.
They keep pushing the date back, but it's going to be very soon.
Uh-huh. And you don't like it when it changes over, right?
Well, I mean, this one I thought was an exception because now they know the name, they know all they have all the info. The question is, if I back it up, if I back this up beyond what I already own, I probably would wait until the merger.
Well, we have a nice series of higher highs. I'd like to draw that.
Yeah. That's pretty linear also. Yep, look at that. Perfect line. Unbelievable.
Now, why does that always happen?
I think a lot of it has to do with computer algorithms.
It's just unbelievable how when you
Because
draw
a
these
lot of
trend
people,
lines,
who program computers aren't familiar with this thing called nonlinear curve.
but the thing is, it's so predictable where to get out. Just extend the series of higher highs, and when it
Right.
hits that or close to that trend line,
Just
you
right.
just
Just
get
trend.
out, and then we wait for the pullback,
Right.
and then you get back in. Let's see where to get back in. I don't know. You like shooting? Maybe. I don't think I'm cheating
I don't
because
think you're cheating either. That's a perfectly
look,
fine line.
there's a lower low here
Yeah. No, that's fine.
and a lower low here. We have three hits of the trend line. That's not cheating.
No.
So this might actually be a good place to come in. I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, assuming you don't have to redraw that line on Friday.
I like Churchill. I own it. And I might add to it after the show.
Hmm.
And I
I
own
think it's a fine
Neo.
hold.
How about XPAD? Let's take a look.
Yeah, you're picking the best one of the bunch.
Am I?
I don't know. I mean, Neo's sort of moderating.
And this one's down 22 cents on the day. Had been up on the day, and it had. I did I draw these lines? I guess for other stocks.
You could redraw them if you want, because we were on a very tight channel for a while, but we're now deviating off that channel.
Yeah.
If it's just the way I see it, it's just widening and maybe changing its slope a slight bit.
We are definitely still trending up, though.
Yeah.
I think Neo is very viable. I mean, XPEV is very viable.
Yeah, there you go.
Viable stock. It looks like
Yeah,
a
we're still top
nice
that line.
play. If it violates this trend line, you just give up. Well, in my case, take my profits.
Right.
But if you're going into it for a swing trade, you can put your very tight stop loss below the low of Friday. 41.50 is the low. So $41 stop loss. And you look for let's see, what do you want to look for?
Maybe
Let's connect these two highs. For the hell of it, let's connect.
Yeah, I was thinking of doing the same thing, right? Okay. Yeah.
This thing got to go up a little bit.
Well, yeah, you draw it that way.
So
Sure.
you're looking
If
for
you draw the channel, it looks good, doesn't it?
let's say $50, $49. Well, actually, wherever it hits that line, you're out.
Right.
So you buy now. It hits that line, you're out. It looks like a very nice idea. Very nice idea. And again, the stop below the low from Friday. So to stop at 41, and you probably, if it hits this line in a few days, it'll be close to 50. So you're looking for like, let's say 6 points on the upside and versus 2.5 points on the downside. My kind of trade. I might make this swing trade after the show.
Right. Oh, you might as well do Neo also. Man says Neo has a July 9th catalyst. If you could elaborate, that would
Neo has a catalyst on July 9th.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I'm sure Man will elaborate.
Man, we should get Man on the show. For real.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, these guys are real knowledgeable.
Man, you got to come on
Man
with
is
us
now,
someday.
but wrong.
Man, show the world what you look like. All right, so we're looking at Neo.
And then I guess we could look at Tesla and close out the show.
Okay. Neo was up on the day, gave back a lot for $50.
Yeah, it's not really. It's not the same chart, is it?
No, it
Very different picture.
yes, yes. The one thing in common though is that it's been going up sharply since. Let's see if I can
It's showing
narrow.
nibble signs too.
I want to narrow this chart a little bit. Going up sharply since you put in a sharp low on May 13th
Wider range business that
at
was.
$30. It's been nothing but a rocket ship up. And this is the trend line. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 hits. We're way above the trend line.
I'm going to call that the prior trend line.
And if it comes down to that trend line, buy, buy, buy. If it comes down to that trend line quickly, we're looking at 46.50, like in the next few days. That would be a great place to buy. Also, this low, 42.16, is very strong support. Yeah, very strong support, but also this low. I like this low of 43.81 as support. So first, I think you got the trend line support. That's going to happen in the high 40s. I think it will happen because I think we're in a little bit of a downtrend. Neo had a big run. I think it's vulnerable to a little pullback. So if we pull back, I think this would be the area right about 46.85. 46.85.
Okay, sounds about right.
Yeah. Let me draw this horizontal line in there, because that's what I'm looking at for the pullback.
Yeah, I was actually. You see the after the break, there's a sort of a new slope.
Well, look at this high. This could offer a little support right in here too.
Oh yeah, and that's right in the middle of the other green candle. That makes a lot of sense.
Let's take a look at this one. It's also where Friday's downward action stopped. So we have two reasons to like this 48.37 number. Also, it intersects the trend line. What date would that be? 7/13. That's not that far away.
Right.
So everything lines up. The stars line up for it to be a buy at 7/13 at about 48.34. I don't know what the catalyst is on Neo, but
Right.
from the chart, this is just an interesting idea. Right, just an interesting idea. Okay, you want to wrap it up with Tesla?
Yes, please, because the beaches are calling. So a very brutal day in New York. So you have to get as close to the ocean as possible.
Cool, fairly cool in Hamptons.
Well, you're pretty much on the ocean.
Yes. So we have this big gap down on Tesla, 23 points today. And I think that it filled this gap from 623. The close was 656.57. Yes. So this gap is filled, which is good, healthy.
Well, from your mouth to God's ear.
I like Tesla. Now, they had some negative news about their self-driving car.
Again, I mean, it bothers me that I have to buy the whole package. I believe in electric vehicles, but I'm not believing in self-driving stuff.
Wait a second. I don't think you do. I think he charges 10,000 extra for this, for the software, for self-driving. No.
Like I said, I mean, look, we got into all that LiDAR stuff, and it's kicking our butts.
All right, now he doesn't use LiDAR, Elon.
Oh, no, he's using
Musk. Elon Musk does not. I think it's all cameras on his vehicle. Now there was a negative write-up on it. Wasn't it the New York Times that wrote him up negatively, saying that there's a lot of accidents?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the technology isn't there yet.
But maybe Waymo and Cruise might actually be ahead of Tesla in their self-driving cars.
Again, like I said, I hate having both conversations simultaneously, because then it ends up confusing the issues, and I end up losing money. So the EV plays make a lot of sense now, especially with all of this energy business and all this pollution business. But, I mean, we already have enough trouble trying to get people jobs, and now we're going to get rid of the driver's jobs also. Tesla, I mean, everybody has as their backup plan. Oh, well, if the shit hits the fan, at least I can drive an Uber. Now we're taking that away from them. It's nuts.
I don't know why I drew a trend line, but I did.
Well,
so if you extend this out to as far as I drew it, Tesla should be trading at 641 about a week from today, which is possible. Very possible.
And that's about the middle of the green candle.
What I want to avoid, I want to draw a horizontal line where I think support might come in, right about here.
Okay.
And that would be 628. Wasn't 636 a key level? Yes.
Yep.
So let me move that up to 636. There we go. When that was the resistance, so now it should be the support. 636 would be the time to load the boat on Tesla. I think that hopefully the time to load the boat. I'm long Tesla for the long haul, though.
Yeah.
I'm not selling this one. What's kept me in the green, strongly in the green, has been stocks like Apple, Amazon, and Google. I just said, well, let's end the show with Amazon.
Okay.
If you want to hop off to go to the beach, it's okay.
Well, no, I'll wait.
Amazon had a big gap up $110. That's the story of the day, I think.
Yeah, I'd say.
High of 36.45. Made an all-time high. Makes me happy that it's my second largest holding. The only larger one is Apple, AAPL. Why my brain it must be mad cow disease.
I'm telling everybody the 70s are repeating themselves anyway, so you might as well.
Do you think I might be, instead of Parkinson's, maybe I have a mad cow?
Right.
Mad cow disease might cause this. I eat a lot of cow. All right, so it gave back a lot off the top, Apple, but it's still up for the day. Up 92 cents to 140.90. Yeah. I mean, it's a down day everywhere else, right? Except for Amazon, Apple, and maybe Google. I don't know.
For all that stuff, anyway.
It's a new all-time high or not? No. The high of the day was 143.15. Maybe it is. I don't know what the old, it might have made a new all-time high. I'm not sure.
That would have made the news pretty awful.
I think it made a new all-time high and backed down a little. Well, I could check by looking at the weekly and pull it down a little.
Yeah, pretty close actually.
No, it's not an all-time high.
Oh, it's pretty close though.
Pretty close, 145.09, and it hit today high of 143.15. We're close.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I do think we will make that all-time high, probably this week. What do you think?
Well, from your mouth to God's ear is what I always say.
I do think we'll hit that. Take out. I think Apple or AOL, whatever you want, is going to make it an all-time high. All right, so that's it for the show, right?
Indeed. Yeah, all the Chinese stuff's getting killed.
We did a hell of a lot. I want to thank Professor Spike for brilliantly explaining blockchain in simple terms, because nobody knows what the hell it is, not even Kathy Wood. I think Kathy Wood should get you on with her so you could explain blockchain.
There are plenty of experts out there.
All
We'll
right,
talk
guys,
about friends on Friday.
thanks a lot for coming, Sean and Linda and Patrick and Daryl, with somebody we haven't seen before. We charted Albo and VBiv for him. MA is with us. Man. Big conversation going on, Patrick. Huge conversation. It's like hundreds of them. Cabinet guys there from Green Mountain State. All right, so that's it for today. Everyone have a good trading day the rest of the day.
Yep.
And hasta la vista. See you all Friday at the same time, right?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, take care, everybody. Patrick, Man saying, what is Man saying? I don't know. Oh, Sorrento, the best biotech. Okay, Patrick. Adios, amigos. Don't forget to subscribe. And as always, do your own due diligence. Our opinions are strictly our own and do not constitute investment advice. Check with an advisor before acting. Please subscribe. That's how we pay to run. You can give us a thumbs up too. Adios. See you on Friday at 11:30. Hopefully the market will treat us well for the rest